Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. In this video, and a continuation of a series of videos about posting payable bills that you will pay, etc., I'm going to talk, let's click this, Post Payables, then Post New Payables Records. I'm going to talk about the button for just creating quick bills with no job costs, and show you how quickly you can post those bills and why it's called more of a quick bill. I'm going to just select, let's say we have our phone bill in, so let's select ATT. And let's take a look for a minute before I do open the window to post the bills at how we set this vendor up. And you need to watch the videos about setting up vendors if you need a little more information about all of this. We've made up some email addresses and phone number there. You could put the customer number, the account number on there if you want, just for reference, because maybe you might have 2 or 3 AT&T vendors, and you should probably set them all up separately. Because notice how, the main thing I want you to notice is that for my GL account for accounting, I went ahead and put one here in the vendor setup, which is for my telephone under office expenses. For an office telephone, I made the default department that will drop in for this vendor be OH for overhead. And of course there's no cost code because the office phone I'm not going to be applying to any job costs. And one of the other main things is I went ahead and typed in a default description for the AP bills for it to drop in. So I'd like to show you how fast I can really just post a bill to AT&T. And what you'll see when it opens up, the only alert it's going to check for when you're doing overhead bills is if they offer a discount, a payment discount, and that will be the same for whether it's either a job bill or an overhead bill. Also, the job is dimmed out. It's just our generic H job, which means no job, and this is actually a cost code field, no cost code, but it just has to be there because of the way we post things. And the department, like I showed you, dropped in as OH, and I don't care as much about the cost type when I'm doing an overhead bill, but perhaps you are paying somebody for just something that's not related to a job, a vendor, and you still want to mark it as a certain type that can be used for workers' comp insurance, etc. But also notice that my GL account dropped in for me, that my description dropped in for me. So basically when this opens, I just need to look at the date of the bill and decide that it was dated, what date it was, and look at the due date of the bill, and maybe it's by March 10th or something, and put that in. And usually things like phone bills, etc., don't have an invoice number, so I quite often use 6 digits for the date for the invoice number, because you do have to have one. So since I filled all this in, I've needed to take care of the dates, the invoice number, and I can take care of whatever amount this bill is for our phone. And I'm ready to submit it. And we're going to go into other things about when you submit. And the thing about a quick overhead, it's not stopping to check for job overages, so this screen pops up pretty fast. It doesn't have to go look up some things like it does in our heavy-duty job costing. That's another thing that makes it quicker. It's looking for less alerts. It's not trying to monitor trade contractors on this window, and it's not trying to monitor jobs and whether they're over or under, so a lot of this can be done fast. But you can see how quickly, because I had some defaults that dropped in, I was able to just post this and then I could submit it. But before I do, I'd like to talk about how you can use the quantity. Maybe perhaps this builder likes to split up for some reason something like utilities between the different departments, wants to share them on the little department financial statements. Let's just take that as an example. So let's say he shares them, maybe he splits it between, or he gives more to the office, like 75% to the office. So to do a percent or a quantity like that, I did 0.75 times 325.75, and I see that it's 244.31. So what I'm going to do is copy this, and then I'm just going to change the department to the Custom Homes department, and I'm going to put 0.25 here. So that when you look down here, your net due is still the 325.75, but I've now allocated this much to this department and this much to this department over here. Oh, the overhead and then the custom homes. You can do a similar kind of thing if you're allocating to different GL accounts, one particular bill. You could keep copying it. You could have 4 lines that all have 25% or 3 lines that have 33. 0.33 is quantity. This is not a percent field, it's a quantity field because it's also used over in job costing to do quantity times unit price. But you can use that quantity field to split between different departments, etc., or different GL accounts, that kind of thing. And you can do it pretty quickly by copying the line. So that's another just difference. I say I'm giving that example because I do that in my own books. I'll put so much of my phone bill to business or my utilities to business and the other to personal utilities because of operating out of a home. So that's just how quick it is to post an overhead bill. There's not a whole lot to say about it. All these various fields, you won't be dealing with the markup field. It's dimmed out. You might be dealing with the 1099 field. Depending on who you're paying for a quick thing that's for overhead. But then you post it just like any of the other bills as unpaid, or go ahead and post it to pay, or post it as paid. But it's just a little different. The activities notes, looking at posted bills, is just like I described for the job costing, job-related types of things. And that's all I wanted to say about it. The reason for that button is just in case you're not wanting to deal with job cost things. You can actually use the first button, create job related or any bills. When you open this one, it's going to still default to that generic H job in the H field, but it's taking a little longer to look up trade controls and vendor and trade controls. But there's an H and OH in here already, and your other defaults have dropped in. So you can definitely post an overhead one here and leave your cost code at 0. And do the same thing, just fill in the date, etc. You'll just have a little more of a delay because it's going to pause before you submit to check for overages. It has more things on the window, so it even takes a little bit longer to load because that's how it is on the web when you have more tools. So that's why I put that other button there, and I just wanted to describe that. And thank you for watching.